Zoom.com coverage of the 2014 World Cup continues here on Saturday at the ITSF Table Soccer World Cup. And Jim Stevenson, Ben Mason with you once again. We've got quarterfinal action. In fact, we're going to bring you 3 quarterfinals today, beginning with this one. It will be Canada versus Luxembourg, you see there in the upper bracket. Later, we will have 2 other great matches for you, Kuwait and France at 6 o'clock Central European time. Then later tonight, in prime time, it will be the United States and Great Britain. There you see the lineups and some great players on both sides of the tables. We're going to open things up with Eric Dunn against Yannick Correa in singles. We then go to doubles, singles, doubles, and then a final singles match if needed. Each game played up to 5, Ben Mason, best 2 games out of 3.
Yeah. We obviously have the great opportunity to watch players play on 2 different types of tables. So they're going to play on their home table and their away table. If it goes to that 3rd and final game, it'll be 1 ball on the 1, then 2, then 2, then 2, until 5, with 1 person winning by 2 goals. There is no ceiling, so we could play until 14-12. We could play till 108, 106.
It certainly is conceivable. Hopefully, will not happen. In this match, we're going to have Leonhardt that you see there. That's the German-style table, and Fireball, which is kind of a Chinese/American-style table, I suppose you'd call it. Opening things up here on the Luxembourg home table with 2-time world champion Yannick Correa. And there you see the outstanding Canadian player Eric Dunn opening up for Canada. You're on the Leonhardt table. We'll play 1 game here, then we'll head over to Fireball for a 2nd game. Yannick Correa looking to get the scoring underway here, and that shot attempt blocked and taken away by Eric Dunn, who is a very cerebral player, really is a smart player, a veteran of not only the American tour, but also internationally as well. And as you'll see, he really plays an intelligent game, doesn't he?
Eric isn't what you'd call a out-and-out skill and talent player. Eric, although he does have very high levels of skill and talent, he's very much the thinker. He thinks through everything. Everything he does is considered and done for a reason. Very little is done on feel.
Yeah, that's well said, and very true. So this should be interesting. Yannick Correa, of course, right now, in our opinion, one of the 5 or 10 best all-around players in the world, multi-table. And he has proven that with 2 world championships in the last 4 years, multi-table, 1 in singles and last year in doubles. And a 2nd-place finisher yesterday in the doubles competition, losing to Tony Spreadham and Robert Mares, who were just too good by far for anyone else in the competition.
Yeah, they could have beaten anyone in the world yesterday. They were that good. Even the great Frederick Collignon, they were that good yesterday. They were giving him the game.
Eric Dunn able to make the steal here. He'll have his first scoring opportunity of game number 1.
For those who've not seen Eric, notice his different style of snake. It's a very slow, methodical rock.
And he strokes this one home to the near side and then says, come on, Eric. He doesn't show much on the outside, but he is churning on the inside. Watch the speed and depth to this shot. Eric Dunn. Up 1-0, you're in game number 1. And, of course, as we talk about in every multi-table match, it's important to win on your home table than try to steal a game or, more likely, a point on the opponent's table. Boy, based on how Eric Dunn shot that first snake shot, though, he looks pretty comfortable on the Leonhardt table.
For me, at the moment, the Leonhardt table is the best table in the world in the ITSF setup. There's obviously 5 tables, and I think the Leonhardt is the best table. It allows you to play all types of shot, and you've got a lot of close control because the ball is so grippy and the table's so pinny.
It is very grippy and pinny.
Important also to point out here that Canada, they finished top of their group. They were in a very tough group with Germany, Denmark and Great Britain. Qualifying from that group were Canada in 1st place and Great Britain in 2nd.
Now, Canada has really put a lot of thought in how they put their team together this year. In Western Canada, it is a predominantly American style of play, whether that's on Fireball, Tornado, or whatever. In Eastern Canada, you'll find very good Bonzini players, very good Garlando players, a very good multi-table culture. So they have kind of put their team together thinking that they're going to be able to compete on any of those 3 tables and perhaps a little bit on the other 2 as well.
Yeah.
Eric Dunn from Western Canada, from the Vancouver area, which is on the west coast of Canada, is more of an American-style player. But so far, his game is translated very well. And, of course, Yannick Correa always translates very well on this table. There you see the cut-back angle, which Yannick Correa, again, executes better than anybody in the world. And he has tied this first game up at 1. Blocked back towards the goal by Correa.
And that is a deliberate shot, guys. you and I, Jim, we can both play shots, and sometimes we cut it back and score. Now, it's not a deliberate stroke from Uri, whereas Yannick, he actually has practiced and rehearsed many times hitting that cut.
Yeah.
And what he does, he hits the cut to open up the long pull. So his push is his better side. His long push is fantastic. What he does, he hits that cut, tightens the man up, and the long pull is there. So all of a sudden, he's got the long push open and the long pull open, and more often than not, he's out the straight there as well.
And that's an approach that over the last year or two has helped to make him certainly a top 5 all-around player in the world. He has really been sensational the last year or two. Very consistent. And he's looking to take the lead here from snake shot position. And he finds that hole far side. Boy, that is such a smooth release on that far side snake shot. So natural looking. Watch this. He could do this in his sleep. And perhaps often does.
Yeah.
2-1 lead early on here for Yannick Correa on his home table, the Leonhard.
Everything's very measured from Eric.
They're done wisely. We'll call timeout here. Interesting that despite the fact that most of the players on Luxembourg, and they ended up finishing second and third in the men's doubles competition while playing on Bonzini. And here they have elected in the team competition to go with Leonhard.
Yeah, I don't know why they keep going with Bonzini. I know they're quite good in it, but I think as a nation, their Leonhard game is absolutely fantastic. It really is. And let's not forget, Luxembourg are hosting next year's Leonhard World Championships. Yeah. It's no longer going to be held in Germany, it's going to Luxembourg.
Yes, it is. Yet, they did take second and third in doubles using Bonzini.
Would they taken first using the Leonhard?
It just attests to the fact of just how good Luxembourg has become as multi-table players. And they have got to be excited about hosting the Leonhard World Championships next year. We are certainly excited to go there. We have never been to Luxembourg, one of the few countries in Europe we have not covered a table soccer tournament. Oh, Dunn tried to go down the middle there. Correa baited him for it, then took it away, then picks up the rebound. Now, when they do go back to fireball, as we saw yesterday, Yannick Correa also very good on that table. This is Luxembourg has sent out their best player to open things up. And they actually have several very good players. This is a team that can compete for the title here this weekend. Dunn turns this one over to Correa. And Dunn able to take it back and then keep it out.
The way that Canada have played this weekend so far, Jim, you wouldn't have thought you'd say it, but they could be contenders for a title too.
Canada, very, very solid effort here this weekend so far. But they are up against a very tough team. In fact, looking at this matchup, it really is hard to pick a winner. Maybe you give Luxembourg the slight advantage, primarily because of Correa and Steve Diaz, who has been playing so well.
And Carlos de Silva. In fact, I think we find also, in fact, yeah, Carlos de Silva's playing the 5th and final game should we get that far. And Carlos is there mainly because he's such a solid player in every respect, and a World Championship winning goalie.
And as we talked a little bit about earlier, as Correa sets it up and looks for a 3-1 lead, and strokes that one home to the far side. That one did go in. Eric Dunn not thinking that went in, but let's look at this again. Hard to tell from that view. You know, I'm thinking here, based on the makeup of the Canadian team, I'm wondering if they would have preferred if Luxembourg had have played on Bonzini. Canada does have some very good Bonzini players, but they also have some very good fireball players, as we will see as the match goes on. Dunn now could use this one, and he gets it. Again, exploiting that near side of the goal. Eric Dunn has pulled back within one at 3-2. And again, the release, very smooth, very natural for Dunn on the Leonhard table. Jim Stevens and Ben Mason, the Kazoom.com crew, happy to be here to bring you all the excitement of the world's greatest table soccer event. This is day number 3 of 4 as the excitement builds towards the World Cup final tomorrow. The biggest day in the sport of table soccer, intercepted here by Correa. Yannick will set it up, looking to get that 2-goal lead back. Correa. Looking at the standard, I think he tried to cut that one back and didn't. He likes to wait for the defender to move into the standard defense and immediately execute that cut. But Dunn got a man on it. Nice pass along the outside wall by Eric, who will slide into the forward position and look to advance it 5-3.
It's so impressive to see Eric playing on a table which isn't his own table, and which is one they do not have in Canada. And I know that because they're asking me as a distributor of Leonhardt to help them get one there. He's adapted his 2 to 5, and it is as if he's played on this table for 20 years. That's the level of the skill and the thought process of Eric Dunn.
And also the work ethic, because you know he's been, for the last 2.5 days, spending time on this table and putting in the necessary table time to be able to do that sort of thing. Yeah. And Yannick Correa will call timeout.
Eric really is the perfect human, except for the fact he's a Man United fan. He's a lovely bloke. He really does play and work hard, and he gives everything in all that he does. But he does support Manchester United, which I find a little bit disturbing.
Okay.
Just the one blot on his copybook. Let's see if he can redeem himself by making the block here.
And put back into play here by Yannick Correa. I suppose that's kind of like being a Dallas Cowboy fan. Same kind of thing. That one again went in. Eric Dunn again questioning it. He doesn't think that went in. That's 2 of those. And we can hear it, of course. We can tell that absolutely the ball did go in here. Watch this. Eric taking a look at the screen as we're showing this replay. Yannick really took his time nicely. And that one did go in off that near side after hitting the corner on the far side.
Eric's not liking it. He's still shaking his head. But no, that definitely crossed the line.
Dunn can't connect through the lane. So Correa in control here in game number 1 on his home table. Those of you watching live, we will have 3 great quarterfinal matches for you today. We'll have 2 semifinals tomorrow, and of course the World Cup final tomorrow afternoon. But it's really nice. Of all the matches in the elimination bracket, every single one of them will be held here on the TV table except one. Except the one that's going on over in Zone C right now between Austria and the Netherlands.
And the amount of grief I've got for that. Oh, you'd think I scheduled it. Ben, why are we not on table 1? Well, we can only have 3 matches. Did you choose it? No.
And stroking it home to the near side is Correa.
Yep.
It's 1-0 in favor of the 2-time world champion. Watch here. Is Correa this time able to hit that near corner? So Yannick Correa comes out with a strong opening game performance against Eric Dunn, and he leads 1-0. Not a big surprise, and it wouldn't be a big surprise either if Yannick then moved over to Fireball and won that game as well. He is that good of a multi-table player.
I would look for more control from Eric here, just a little bit more on the 5. He dropped a few passes, which is not the usual Eric Dunn, but then again, as we say, he was on a different table. But let's have a look at his 5-3 here. I think for me that'll be the difference in Eric's game.
Luxembourg striking first here in terms of games as Yannick Correa wins that opening game. They send out their strongest player in the first round. That isn't always the case with every team. Sometimes they'll save that player for that middle spot, that number 3 spot. And we'll talk about that more as the day goes on and we look at the various lineups. Referee for the match there, you see him at the other end of the table. That's Franco Lupacella. And our timer here is Kevin Becker of Germany. As we get the second game underway, Dunn can't connect, picked up here by Correa. And watch Yannick.
His left-hand control. Jim, I'm going to put out there, even in front of Frederick Collignon, I think Yannick Correa's got the best left-handed ball control in the world.
Both on his 5 and when he uses it on the 2 row as well. Yeah, he really, it's quite exceptional. As he, of course, turns it over here. And Eric Dunn will have a chance to strike first here in the second.
That could never have happened at any other time, could it?
Be amazed how often that happens to me. And stroking that one to the far side, just wide of the goal. What's done? Rebound comes to Correa. In fact, there's a drinking game in America. Every time Jim Stevens says something and the opposite happens, you take a drink.
Okay, there's some drunk people across America.
Hey, wait a minute. Eric Dunn. Still no score here in the second game. Dunn able to save it. And Eric able to pick it up off the back wall. Coming out kind of with a loose effort, opening up this very important second game for Eric Dunn. Eric has been successful near side, and that continues. He's going to work that hole, I think, until Yannick Correa gets a man over there. And all three of Eric Dunn's scores have been in identical fashion, where he has rocked and then hit it deep to the near corner.
Look how deep that is, though, Jim. To be fair, you have to defend that, I'm thinking, with the goalie. Because, Eric, if you are...
Yeah, you have...
I call it 50 cent. If you're a 50 cent or a 50p piece, width off that bumper, he's going to go around you. So you need to be out there, in my opinion, with the goalkeeper.
Dunn slowing it down just a little bit, trying to pass it through the lane, taken away by Correa. And taken right back by Dunn. As the day goes on, in between individual matches during the quarterfinals that we covered today, we'll also be bringing you interviews of players and coaches. Trying to give you a little more insight into what's going on down there. Ben Mason and I sitting, about 20 meters or so away from the main finals area, up high in the bleachers, in the stands, the tribunes, as they call them over here. Correa looking to tie it. Yannick set home to the near side. It's 1-1.
Well, this is a man who favors his push side, but look how good this pull is.
You see Dunn completely overplaying the push side. Yeah. He knows the book on Yannick Correa. And Yannick recognizes it and executes a brilliant shot.
It's unbelievable we can say that someone favors one side when the other side is that good. See, Eric, look, he's changed that defense over. He's got the goalie over on that pull side now.
Eric trying to go far side, despite the fact he had great success. Perhaps in that situation, a straight would have been in order. I think Eric realizes that. It was blocked by Correa, who's able to work it up the table. Moving into the forward position now is Luxembourg's Yannick Correa. Last year's world doubles champion with Carlos da Silva, who we'll see a little later on in this match. Second place finisher yesterday with Bruno Gonçalves, another member of Team Luxembourg.
Yannick Correa, one of only a couple of people to have won a multi-table world championship a title twice.
Beautiful.
Once in singles, once in doubles.
By Dunn from goal. Watch this. Of course, I always love the push kicks. Here's one from the two-rod of Eric Dunn. He really surges ahead 2-1. Yeah, Ryan Moore had a chance to win a second world championship last year. In fact, I believe Yannick Correa would be the only other player besides Frédéric Collignon to have won two, and Jamal Alalou would be the other. Those are the only three players who have won an ITSF multi-table title more than once among the men.
Obviously not counting the team event.
And Yannick Correa will call timeout. Now, the only nation to win more than once, the United States. And a lot of people think that they're going to add another title here this weekend. We're going to have a look at them tonight in prime time. That'll be at 8:45 Central European time, which is 2:45 on the East Coast of the United States. Earlier, we will have France versus Kuwait. That'll be at 6 o'clock Central European time, and that's going to be an interesting one, I think. A lot of people don't realize just how good that Kuwaiti team is.
Well, the Kuwaiti team arrived on the scene 3 years ago. They qualified from D2. In fact, they didn't 3 years ago. They weren't allowed in. They hadn't got the right visas. The next year, they qualified from D2. This is their first time playing in D1, the top level men's competition, and they've qualified to the knockout stages, which is fantastic.
Shot down the middle here, comes back to Dunn. Somewhat of a surprise that Germany did not qualify. In fact, Canada knocked them out. But Germany with a very young team.
A weakened team, you'd say, but experience-wise.
Yeah. Very talented team, and they will get great experience. Look at that shot on goal there. Comes back around. Boy, Yannick, another thing he does very well is bank the ball from the middle of the table back there. Comes down the middle with a push kick of his own from goal. Eric Dunn has done a good job defensively during the course of this second game. I think I'd probably like to see Eric continue to pass the ball back there instead of trying to shoot. At least part of the time. Shooting occasionally, but passing most of the time. When you pass the ball from the 2 to the 5, you generally know where it's going to end up. As you see. The block there by Dunn. Nicely done. Eric again in possession of the ball in the goal area, sends it up the table and grabs it on his 5-rod. Eric has switched from passing earlier on the Leonhardt table to shooting here. But the problem with shooting the ball from goal in singles is you don't always know where it's going to end up. About half the time it ends up in the hands of the opponent. When you're passing the ball, most of the time you're going to end up with it. As it advances up the table, and Correa able to find that hole to the far side. It's 2-2.
Interestingly, if you have a look, when we get back to the large screen, over Yannick's left shoulder is the manufacturers known as the 2 tables. You've got Mr. Christian Fiedler from Leonhardt and Dennis Yang from the Fireball Company. So both of them watching their tables in action.
2-2 here in game number 2. Eric Dunn needs this one on his home table. In fact, you could argue for Canada to have really a chance to win this match. They could use a win from Eric Dunn here early on. Of course, this is singles opening things up. Nice catch on the 3-rod by Correa. Yannick for the lead. Chokes it down the middle. It's 3-2.
Knowing how well the Luxembourg's 5th player, Carlos Silva, is going to play, you would think Canada would want to try and win this before it got to a 5th. Would you not?
Well, there are different ways of looking at it. You load your top end, or do you kind of figure you're going to go 5? We'll go over the lineup a little bit. Of course, it's Dunn and Correa in the opening round singles match. We'll then move to doubles. It'll be Steve Diaz, Bruno Gonçalves for Luxembourg. Canada will send out Olivier Levesque and Neutron. Third round, it's singles. It's Julien Beaumier-Etier versus Fabio Ferreira in singles. 4th round doubles, Sean Lee and Mario Iannuzzi of Canada going up against Daniel Alves and Christophe Diaz. And then if it does happen to go 5, it would be singles. And as we look at the Canadian Sean Lee, it would be singles. It would be Laurent Paquin Marco versus Carlos da Silva in that 5th round. Yeah, it's an interesting configuration for the Canadian lineup. They have not loaded the top 3. They're looking more at spreading it out a little bit. And we'll see how that works as the match goes on. Right now, things not looking great for the Canadians, and in particular Eric Dunn, who is down 3-2 here in the second game, already down 1-0. Correa dangerous from this position offensively. Stoppage in play here and a time call. So the ball will be awarded to the 5-rod of Eric Dunn. Apparently Correa lost track of time.
I'm wondering if the time didn't quite reset in the right way, but it didn't feel like 15 seconds to me.
It was a surprise to both of us and to apparently Correa as well. But a referee's call is a referee's call, and that one knocked back in. Big play there. It was taken away from Correa, and Dunn caught a break and has tied it up at 3 here in game number 2.
Watch here how Yannick doesn't get back. I don't understand this. He almost felt it was going to go in. He's got a chance there. He just could have got a jab on it. I think he committed to the fact he was going to concede, and I never like that. He's such a good player. He should just get back there and win it.
Tied up at 3, beautifully passed down the middle. When you can handle the ball like that on the 5-row, it really opens up a lot of possibilities, including that beautiful pass down the middle. Correa now will set it up, looking to regain the lead. Walking it, tried to come to the near side, blocked by Dunn. Dunn tried to get the right hand on the 5-row in time, couldn't, and it comes back to Correa. Pass along the near wall, blocked back towards the goal by Dunn. Picked up by Correa, who uses the left hand to quickly pass it to his 3-rod. Yannick staying one step ahead of Eric Dunn in that sequence, and then finds the hole to the near side. It's match point for Yannick Correa. Looking at it again, Yannick has proven to be very quick to the near corner. Eric Dunn guessing completely far corner. And Yannick Correa now just a goal away from giving Luxembourg a 1-0 lead, and he's able to pick it up here on the 5. Quick pass along the outside wall. Actually kind of a shot, I suppose. It was with the right hand. Taken away by Dunn. Got a timeout here. It is 4-3 in favor of Yannick Correa. Eric Dunn getting some advice from the Canadian bench. Yannick will put it back into play, looking to win this opening round for Luxembourg as he sets it up. Tried to stroke it to the far side, blocked and taken away by Eric Dunn. Eric sends it up the table, and it's Correa who grabs it in the 5 on his 5. And a pass bounced through the lane, and then Correa couldn't hold on to it. Eric Dunn needs this ball and needs the next 2 balls. Dunn looking at the push shot taken away by Correa, who will have his second opportunity to give Luxembourg a first match win as he sets up the snake shot and strokes it home, and there it is. So in 2 games, Luxembourg's Yannick Correa defeats Eric Dunn, and Luxembourg leads Canada 1-0 as they attempt to reach the semifinals. Watch this, Correa this time down the middle. And a great performance by 2-time world champion Yannick Correa of Luxembourg, who, as expected, I think to some degree, comes out and wins the opening round for his home country.
Ja, klar. Also sie wollen den Ball Fußball.
So Luxembourg leading 2. They won both games in that opening round, but it is 1-0 in favor of Luxembourg in matches. First team to win 3 matches will advance to the semifinals. Luxembourg coming out with that strong effort, and we'll see if they can sustain it. We'll move to doubles here momentarily. Will be Diaz and Gonçalves versus Levesque and Tron. Always exciting to watch this particular format, multi-table, everything on the line, playing for your country, playing for your teammates later tonight and throughout tomorrow, playing in front of big crowds. And let's head down to the finals area where Ben Mason is standing with Canadian player Sean Lee.
Ben Mason down in the finals area with Sean Lee from the Canadian team. Now, we've seen Canada get off to not the best of starts. The great Eric Dunn didn't win his match. Now, puts a bit of pressure on the next pair.
It does a little bit, but we've been in this situation before earlier in the day. We lost our first matchup, but this is a team, and teams pick up each other. Or teams pick up teammates. Teammates pick up teammates, and that's what we're going to do.
That's interesting to hear. It's the whole team atmosphere. One person might have lost, so the next people are going to step up and do what they can do. How do you feel about these Luxembourg opponents? Have you seen many of these guys this weekend?
We have. We did play one of them in doubles. They had a great match against us. They're amazing on Lee and Hearts. Last year, they actually beat us in the qualifying round as well. So, we wanted this matchup again to show that, perhaps we've improved as a team.
Interesting thoughts. Obviously, a lot of homework's been done by the Canadian team, so hopefully they'll win this next match and make it 1-1. Thanks, Sean.
Thanks, Ben.
Thank you, Ben Mason. Thank you, Sean Lee. So the Canadians off to a bit of a slow start, but as you heard Sean Lee say, it's all about picking up your teammates, and that's really one of the things that makes the World Cup so great, is that whole team sort of concept. If one guy loses or one team, the others feel compelled to kind of pick it up and play for them and the rest of their mates and their country, of course. We're going to move to the second round now. It'll be doubles. Canada will be on the right. It'll be Luxembourg on the left. We're going to open things up on the fireball table. And I think in this particular match, I think the Canadians might have a bit of an advantage. Two very experienced fireball players in Olivier Levesque and Neutron will be going up against an outstanding pair. Of course, these two players both finished in the top 3 of open doubles with separate partners. Steve Diaz finishing third with Carlos de Silva, and of course Bruno Gonçalves, the goalie, finishing second with Yannick Correa yesterday. But I think you've got to give the Canadians the slight advantage on the fireball table. Heading back over to Leonhardt, of course. The Luxembourg team will always have the advantage on that table.
I think for what I'm going to say here is that Steve Diaz and Bruno Gonçalves are both very talented players on both tables. The Canadian team have got their work really cut out.
There you see Steve Diaz in the forward position. His partner at goal, Bruno Gonçalves for Luxembourg. They'll be on the left. And on the right in the forward position, that's Neutron. His partner, Olivier Levesque. Both experienced fireball players, especially Tron, who, as you will see, is a very, very good American-style player.
Neutron really is one of the nicest guys in the scene as well, isn't he, Jim? Such a lovely, lovely guy. Spent a lot of time there in different countries, and you kind of like to see the nice guy win, especially to make it 1-1 and an interesting game to commentate on.
All right, here we go. Second round underway. Luxembourg leading 1-0. As Neutron puts it into play. Neutron trying to go along that wall. Comes back to Gonçalves. And a chance to see Bruno, of course, last night in the doubles final. He did play very well. Had some difficulty at times keeping loose balls out, but defensively against Tony Sprademan did a pretty good job. That one goes wide of the goal, right back into their own goal.
The Luxembourg team cheering, not realizing what happened. Watch here,
the shot attempt, near side, right back in with a lot of speed behind it.
Fabio Ferreira on the Luxembourg bench, we can see off camera, is laughing at himself as he cheered no goal.
Steve Diaz, who is, I think, one of the most improved players in the world. He has had a great tournament here, and over the past 6 months or year, we have seen him really become quite a good pro player. Shot far side, blocked by Levesque, comes back to Gonçalves. It's Diaz, Gonçalves on the left. It's Neutron, Olivier Levesque of Canada on the right. Olivier Levesque from French-speaking Canada, and Diaz able to stroke it home to the far side. It's 1-1. Watch here, he gets it. Doesn't take much time, and then gets it deep to the far corner, catching Levesque a little bit flat-footed. This is Olivier's first time ever, I think, in front of the cameras, and that always can be a challenge.
Yeah, the lights, the referee, 2 referees, you've got a timer and a referee. You start thinking about how long you had the ball. 6 seconds feels like 30. There's so many different things that come in for a player when you're in this situation.
Canadians have responded as they now surge ahead 2-1. Watch here as Neutron sits on it.
Sits on it. Sits on it.
Taps and then strokes it home near side. And if they're going to post you up, you can go to that near side all day long.
He's a very compact player, Neutron. I don't mean that in stature and height.
What do you mean?
I mean that in the way that his game is very, very honed to working in a few areas. He's got a very well-rehearsed 5-bar. He's a very well-rehearsed 3-bar. Have a look here. He doesn't look to do too much play. He's just a businessman.
Beautiful bounce pass there. Quick shot far side, blocked into the air and off the table. I like that. He's a businessman.
He really is. He's come here to score, and that's what he's going to try and do.
Watch this. As he waited, tried to come down the middle. Nice switch and block there by Gonçalves, who proved himself last night, I think, to be a very good defender against the 3-rock. Made some excellent blocks against Spratum. Of course, it wasn't enough. Tony gets the ball so much, eventually he's going to get to you. And now he's able to angle it into the goal, and Gonçalves has tied this first game up at 2 goals apiece. This is a very Bonzini-type play there, where you come around it. Oh, it went off a man and then curved right between the defenders of Olivier Levesque. 2-2. Obviously, a huge second-round doubles match for Canada. Neutron just trying to stab down that one after the block by Diaz. The first of 3 big quarterfinal matches covered by Kazoom.com today here in the finals area. Jim and Ben will be sitting up here covering every second of every one of them. And Levesque gains possession and calls timeout.
It would seem the Canadians have got to win this. The reason being is that what a tragedy it would be to have Mario Iannuzzi and Sean Lee not get to the table. But there's always a lot of pressure put on Julien to win that 3rd leg, to keep them alive. And 2 great players like Mario Iannuzzi, who's played all around the world and a great Pro Master player, played in the American Tour, played all over, to not get to the table. We'll talk about this later, about the psychology of how you stack a team. Jim and I do differ. I believe in stack heavy, stack at the top. There's no point in being the best penalty kicker not taking a penalty. I'm very much a believer in that.
I believe more in matchups, and in certain situations, I'd certainly believe in that approach. And in other situations, I think having your stud at the back end is going to be necessary, or having one of your studs at the back end. And Levesque to the short side. Big shot there by Olivier. It's 3-2. Watch here as he sets up the pull shot, takes a look, and you can see that hole. It's there as he nails it to the short side. But beautiful play.
The very nature of this format, where you can't pick your matchups because you pick your lineup blind, that's why I don't want to leave any of my studs at that 5th spot. I want to have one of my best 2 singles players in 1 and 3, my best doubles pair in 1, and then hopefully the others are good enough to make the team, so they can still do it.
And Diaz is going to call timeout. 3-2 lead for Canada here in this opening game of the second-round doubles match. Luxembourg won the first match. They lead 1-0. The winner of this, of course, will advance to the semifinals at the World Cup. I think Luxembourg kind of expects to reach the semifinal. I think they'd be really disappointed if they don't. I don't think Canada does. I think Canada is hungry, but they don't have expectations, and it certainly would not be out of the question that they would win this match and reach the semifinals, and would be pretty happy to do so.
Yeah, whereas Luxembourg will be annoyed to not get there.
Here's Gonçalves. Fires that one down the table on goal. As we mentioned, both Neutron and Olivier Levesque are from Eastern Canada, which is a more multi-table culture. You see the grip of Levesque. And he's going to use the second timeout. So Olivier Levesque has used both of the timeouts for his team. Interesting approach. The first time it was effective, he scored it. Let's see what happens here.
Olivier Levesque changing his gloves for the 3rd time in a match.
10 seconds.
Crowd starting to build. It's always exciting to watch as the day goes on here. The stands begin to fill as the locals from Nantes come in to enjoy some table soccer action. Olivier putting it back into play. puts that one on goal, and Neutron able to scoop up the rebound. So 2 timeouts called by Olivier Levesque, and he has been very good out of both of them. Neutron Stokes at home to the far side. So Levesque with his 2 timeouts, both of them result in goals. The second one to the far side of the goal off that snake shot set by Neutron. 4-2 lead for the Canadians here in the first game. This is not unexpected that they would win on their home table. When you're talking about multi-table players, probably the only true multi-table player in this match is Yannick Correa.
Yeah.
And he has won his. From now on, I expect we're going to see a lot of 3-game matches. Diaz can't find the hole on the near side.
You could argue Carlos de Silva, having won a world multi-table world championship, although doubles.
But he won that as a goalie also. So, and he's playing singles here today, if we get that far. Another chance for Tran, who sets it up and Stokes it home. So, Neutran and Olivier Levesque win the first game of this second round match. We'll move over across the arena to the Leonhardt table, where certainly Diaz and Gonçalves will have an advantage. But watch here, still trying to post him up. To no avail.
It's actually interesting watching the 2 teams move from table to table. They're virtually matched up identically physically. You've got a shorter, stockier guy up front with a tall, wiry, thin defender in the back.
I've seen some very good short, stocky defenders as well, though, so I don't think it's necessarily, I don't think we should stereotype.
I don't think we are. We're just observing.
You see Luxembourg won the first round 2-0. Canada up 1-0 here in the second round. Here we go. Second game underway on the Leonhardt table, which is the home table of Diaz and Gonçalves. But I think, as you talked about a little earlier, the Leonhardt table might be the easiest of the 5 tables to make a quick adjustment to.
Yeah.
In other words, Neutran and Olivier Levesque have never seen this table, perhaps before this weekend.
Yeah.
Maybe one other time. But it's not that difficult to transition to, is it?
The thing is, once you're a high-level table soccer player, every table is easy to transition to a certain level.
And Levesque is going to use a timeout, and this is apparently his standard operating procedure. Get the ball in a big situation and use a timeout. But I have, when I play on the Leonhardt table, it doesn't take me long at all to be able to hit that dead man push kick.
It does not.
With ease. Yannick Correa, who won that opening round and has given his team the early lead.
Neither that short spray either.
If necessary.
If I'm going to keep giving it, you've got to keep hitting it.
Levesque steps back to the table and puts it back into play. Look for him to hit that long pull shot, and he does. So 3 timeouts, 3 scores by Levesque, 2 of them from his right arm, 1 of them as he cleared it and got it to his partner. Watch this. He hit the short earlier, so Gonçalves is not even going to move. And that one stroked into the long hole. Interesting approach there by Bruno. Perhaps he felt that that shot was Diaz's responsibility, and that's oftentimes the approach. The goalie watches the short, the forward responsible for the far side of the goal.
Do you know what strikes me as odd about that? On the Leonhardt, that isn't the setup. Because of the positioning in the man and the zones you can do, if it's a pull shot set, the goalkeeper should be taking that long.
And Diaz able to get on the scoreboard here as he stroked that one home. It looks like he cut that one back down the middle.
The goalkeeper should at least be covering the middle and the middle spray, just because the way the men are set up and the different gaps that get left.
Here's Neutran. Pass through the lane. Spins away. That's going to come back to Levesque.
Olivier Levesque, will he take a timeout?
Early in this second game, you would think he would want to save one for later so he can use it.
And score.
Olivier setting it up just outside that goal line. Comes with a pull kick wide of the goal. Up and back and eventually picked up by Gonçalves.
I've got to say, the bright lights and the cameras don't seem to have got to Olivier Levesque here. He seems to be enjoying every moment of it.
And he really has been an impact player so far, with 2 goals, and he has cleared the zone on nearly every possession. Shot down the middle, stabbed in by Tran. It's 2-1. Waiting to play next for Canada, it's Julien Beaumier-Etier. He'll go up against Fabio Ferreira as the Canadians surge ahead on the Luxembourg home table.
If any of you ever get a chance to spend a bit of time with Nutran, please do. He's a really happy guy, really smile, always got a smile, always got a laugh in the story. There's some great guys on tour, and if you get a chance to have a chat with them, always take the opportunity.
And stroking it on the near side is Diaz. It's 2-2. And that's one of the great things about this event and any of the multi-table events is the camaraderie. As we look at Diaz find the near side of the goal with this pin effort. But it's one of the things we enjoy is walking around the room, speaking with players from more than 30 different countries, the different cultures, and learning about the home countries of the individual players. But the one thing we all have in common, of course, is table soccer. And it really is quite a unique community and a really great family atmosphere. Trans shot attempt, blocked by Gonçalves, comes back to Levesque.
Is there a bit of a tell on that? I feel that Tan dropped his shoulder to go for that push. I think there was an obvious attempt to get right out there. Maybe it was just a bit of nerves. Maybe he wanted to really hit it.
2-2. That shot wide of the goal, picked up by Tran. And then the quick set here near side. It's 3-2. Explosive play here by the business-like New Tran. As he didn't take any time at all. That ball came up there. He quickly set it and went immediately to the near corner with authority.
Absolutely hammered that.
3-2 in favor of the Canadians here in Game 2. The Canadians, and your interview with Sean Lee, I think really illustrates this point. They really have a tremendous approach, don't they? There's no fear. It's about team. It's about picking each other up. There's a real sense of security with the players. They're not afraid of losing. Diaz able to fire that one home near side. He's tied it up at 3.
When you've got quality throughout, though, you aren't often afraid of losing, are you?
No, that's true. But not only quality as players, these are quality human beings as well. But right now,
we could need a Levesque timeout here to get another one on the board.
Yeah, Gonçalves has moved into the forward position. Diaz back defensively. Tried to go through the lane, can't connect. Picked up here by Steve. They'll shoot the pin shot.
Great shooter from the back.
Sends this one up the table. Tran able to intercept it along the way. He'll look to advance it. Stabs it off that back wall. Picked up again by Diaz.
They got 2 timeouts left. There's 2 options here.
And here's Levesque. And this would be a good time to use perhaps a timeout if Olivier is going to continue with the trend he set in that opening game. But let's see. Looks like he's going to shoot it.
Timeout. Here it comes.
Instead, he tried to pass it along the outside wall, again clearing the zone. He's given Tran a lot of opportunities. It's been a really good performance so far from Olivier Levesque. And New Tran can give his team the lead. Another good opportunity here to call a timeout. Tran, though, is going to shoot it. He's going to try to go to the far side. Diaz with a switch and the takeaway.
Again, we see that drop shoulder for that push side.
Whether or not the defender is recognizing it or not.
Want to see New rock on this more steadily. Just hit his normal shot. Don't try and put too much into it.
New Tran. Try to come near side, and he does. That one off the corner and in. Big shot there. Hits 4-3. And we're going to get a timeout. A 4-3 lead for the Canadians. It is match point.
10 seconds.
New Tran, Olivier Levesque have a match point in this second round doubles match. Steve Diaz returning to the forward position. Trying to brush it through the lane. Tran gets a piece of it, but it gets through to Diaz, who has shot very well so far on the lay-on hard table. And that continues. A little fake, and then a shot to the near corner. It's 4-4. One of the keys to shooting a great pin shot, a standard pin, is the ability to fake a defender off the hole. And you see it there as Diaz pushed and then pulled for the score. It's 4-4, and we're going to get a timeout called by Luxembourg.
I think that timeout has been enforced rather than called. I think what the referee is saying is that you've been away from the table longer than your 5-10 seconds before you have to come back, so now I'm making you take your time out. The rule states that you've got 5 seconds between balls in which to put the ball back into play and start. Although it says 5 seconds, anything between 5 and 10 is allowed. They took so long, I think the referees enforced them to take their time out.
It remains match point for Neutron and Olivier Levesque. This is Bruno Gonçalves defending against the 5-rod of Tran. Tried to brush it through the lane, just couldn't catch it on the other end. Picked up here by Diaz, and look out. Steve tried to bank that one off the inside wall. Gonçalves able to dig it out and grab it and call timeout to bring Diaz back to the forward position. Steve Diaz will have an opportunity to tie this match up at 1 game apiece, and then we always get excited about third games, about final games in this format, because it is a lot of fun to watch the multi-table third game type of situation.
10 seconds.
Julien Beaumier-Etier and Fabio Ferreira would step into the center ring for the third round singles match after this. Franco Lupacella.
Good referee, Franco.
Very good referee. He's from Germany. Kevin Becker, the assistant, the timer, as Diaz puts the ball back into play, shooting against Neutran here. Diaz working the mouth of the goal, looking for the hole. Flipped it over. Clock is running. Quick pull kick goes wide of the goal. Back to the other end where it's picked up by Gonçalves.
What an odd choice at this stage, Jim.
Tried to flip it over where he had been hitting the corners brilliantly. Pass attempt. Levesque in the forward position, able to knock it down. Do the Canadians have a timeout remaining?
No. Not according to the board, Jim.
So Neutran is back here for the rest of this match. Or at least this second game, rather. Swings and misses here. Shot on goal by Tran. Sent towards the goal. Nice save there by Gonçalves. Bruno with a shot attempt. Squirts towards the goal, and it's Neutran in possession. Levesque grabbing it on the 5-rod. We'll see what Olivier has in the forward position. Tried to pass it back through the lane. Blocked and picked up by Gonçalves. Bruno off the outside wall into the goal. It's 1 game apiece.
Cool customer, Bruno Gonçalves.
So the switch with Neutran moving to goal gets a block, but then doesn't provide the Canadians with any sort of offense after that. It's Gonçalves who provides the final offense in that second game by banking it off the outside wall cleanly. And it's 1 game apiece. We'll now move over to Fireball for 1 ball. Back over to Leonhardt for 2. 2 on Fireball, 2 on Leonhardt, until someone gets to 5, winning by 2. And again, there is no cap on a third game situation.
Ryan Moore versus Tony Spreadman, semi-final 2009. What was it? 18, 16, 16, 14?
Yeah, I think we've actually had a couple of matches go into the 20s.
The French versus the German ladies, yeah. Final 2011.
So a big comeback there for Steve Diaz and Bruno Gonçalves, who were down 4-3 in that second game on their home table. A big shot by Diaz, followed by an even bigger shot by Gonçalves from goal as he banked it off that outside wall. And now the Canadians really need to buckle down and win this third game, or else they're going to be down 2 matches to nothing.
Yeah, I think the thing here for the Canadians is to really value every single point. Not just on their table, but on both tables. Every point matters so much.
Really have to. Tran, fortunate to pick this one up. He'll have the first scoring opportunity shooting against Diaz, who is starting in the goalie position. But Tran gets the scoring underway here in game number 3 as he strokes that snake shot home. And we'll head over across the arena to the Leonhardt table. Watch this. A lot of speed on this one as he takes it all the way out to the far side. Not as much of a shoulder dip on that effort.
No. He's far more at home, isn't he, on the fireball shooting, right?
Back over to Leonhardt we go. Diaz will put it into play and quickly pass it through. Looking to answer. And he does. Steve Diaz, again, so explosive to the corners. Okay. 1-1 here in game number 3. Okay. New Tran. Again, it's all about stealing. So far, both points have been scored on their home tables. This is Gonçalves sending it up the table to his partner Diaz. Steve pokes it down the middle here. So 2 quick ones from Steve Diaz, and we'll quickly head back over to Fireball. It's 2-1 in favor of Luxembourg. And you can argue that the Canadians maybe don't have to have this game, but if they don't get it, you think their chances probably are not great to win the match.
You really are putting a lot of pressure then on your back three, and although they've got some great players in there, so do the Luxembourgians.
Is that what it is, Luxembourgian?
I'm sticking with it.
All right.
We said it yesterday. Let's style it out and keep with it.
It does work better than Luxembourgites, I think.
Yeah. Luxembourgs.
Here's New Tran looking to tie it up at 2. New try to come near side. There's the block by Gonçalves. We saw it yesterday. Bruno does not like giving up corners. Of course, you know what that means if you're a shooter against it. You got to establish that straight down the middle. But he's very good at blocking the corners, both on the pin shot and the snake. See what New does here. New Tran scopes it home to the near side. He was thinking straight, was Gonçalves. New Tran figured he'd continue to go to that near corner, and he does so with success. And he's very good shooting the snake to the near side. It's 2-2. So again, both teams have held on their individual tables. Who will be the first to break? Tran blocks it, comes back towards Levesque.
It's often a random goal like that can be the breaker, can't it?
Yeah. Here's Olivier.
Timeout.
That was his early match strategy. Nice catch here on the 5-rod by New Tran. Tran back along the wall nicely. Seems very focused right now on his home table. Chance to give his team a 3-2 lead here.
Not
New
long left.
Rocking, looking near, going far, and you saw Gonçalves stay home. We're going to get a jar call here.
Yeah.
See where he awards the ball. Going to award it to the 3-rod of Steve Diaz. Feels that Steve would have caught that ball on the 3 without the jar.
I thought the jar was being called again to give New Tran the ball on the 5.
Diaz. Tried to go to the far side, angled that one wide of the goal. It comes back to Gonçalves. Shot down the middle on goal. Blocked by Levesque. Rebound picked up by Steve Diaz.
Time's ticking.
Steve. Still shooting the standard pin. Flips it over down the middle, and there's the break. Steve Diaz has given Luxembourg a 3-2 lead, which means, of course, that the Canadians have to have one of these next 2 goals. You can't give up the straight in that situation. On the opponent's table, on your home table, you have got to make them go to a corner. 3-2 lead for Luxembourg. If they get both of these, they'll be up 2-0. So the Canadians have to steal one. New Tran. This is Gonçalves defending against him, and Tran able to brush this one through. New will shoot against Steve Diaz. Taking his time. Tapping and calling timeout. That's a nice call in a big situation by Canada's New Tran. I believe this is the second time that New Tran has been part of the Canadian national team.
10 seconds.
Of course, Canada was Division 2 2 years ago and then moved back into the first division last year. Yeah, they won the Division 2 championship in 2012.
He definitely played in 2012. Was he here in 2011?
So 12, 13, and now 14, his third appearance. As New Tran puts it into play. This time shooting against Gonçalves. And he finds the hole down the middle. That's a big shot there by New Tran. Got a little bit fortunate, but he'll take it. And he has evened it up at 3, and both teams now have stolen one on the opponent's home table.
That's the big break back. That's exactly what he needed.
But again, how can you give up a straight?
But not just a straight, that's
on your home table.
Straight. He's giving up both shorts and the straight.
Steve Diaz. Idea here, keep the ball off of Diaz 3. It's been very difficult to do, and when he's got it, he has scored it most of the time. He's shot the ball so well throughout this match. And that continues as he strokes it deep to the far side. It's match point for the Luxembourgians. They're up 4-3 here in the third game. Watch here. Really gets this one deep and fast to the far side.
It's not the Luxembourgers.
I bet it is Luxembourgers. Yeah, I'm going Luxembourger from now on. Yeah.
Fries with that?
I'm good with it. Here we go. Back on the Canadian home table. Neutran puts it into play. Can't connect on the pass. Remember, it's match point for Steve Diaz. And Bruno Gonçalves. Bruno able to keep that one out. Shot down the middle on goal, and Diaz picks it up with a chance to win the match. Steve Diaz for victory. Will call timeout. Luxembourg just a goal away from taking a 2-0 lead against Team Canada. Let's see what they're going to do here. I think they're going to probably bring Tran back defensively. And they do have timeouts remaining as well.
10 seconds.
Neutran will defend against Steve Diaz, who puts the ball back into play for the win. Diaz. Stokes it down the middle. Steve Diaz and Bruno Gonçalves have defeated Neutran and Olivier Levesque. Canada now down 2-0 as Steve Diaz plays an awesome second round match. Great shooting by Diaz, and Luxembourg just one match away from advancing to the semifinals. He fakes and fires it down the middle. The star of that match, certainly Steve Diaz. Great play, great all-around performance in that second round. It's been a very well-played match so far between Canada and Luxembourg. Canada had a match point in that second game over on the Leonhardt table. They were up 4-3, but could not hold off the strong shooting of Steve Diaz as Luxembourg came back to win that game and then won the multi-table third game to win that second round. We'll now move to the singles event. The third round, it'll be Fabio Ferreira of Luxembourg. It'll be Julien Beaumier-Etier of Canada. And let's head down to Ben Mason, who is standing with Luxembourg's Steve Diaz.
Ben Mason, just outside the finals area with Steve Diaz, who we've just seen be absolutely fantastic in that match there. A great shooting display. You shot really well. Your front pin was really, really good. How do you feel?
Yeah, I feel good. 2-0, we win. But the match it's not due, and we have to win the third game to come in the next stage. That's the semi-final, and I hope that Fabio Ferreira wins the third game. So 3-0, it's well.
What we're seeing there is that Luxembourg, they might be 2-0 up, but they don't think it's done yet. They're going to make sure they win this third match and get through to the semi-final. Congratulations, Steve.
Thank you.
Thank you, Ben Mason. Thank you, Steve Diaz. Truly a great performance by a great player. And we've seen two great players so far for Luxembourg, Yannick Correa and the rising star, Steve Diaz, perform really well for Team Luxembourg. Team Canada really up against it now, but they are sending a very good singles player to the table in Julien Beaumier-Etier. He'll be going up against Fabio Ferreira of Luxembourg. Going to be a tough match, but Canada has to have it if they want to stay alive. Entering this competition, many people looked at the Luxembourg team and what they had accomplished over the last couple of years and the quality of their lineup and said, this is a team that will contend for the championship. You see there, Julien Beaumier-Etier will compete against Fabio Ferreira in that third round. And the Canadians hoping they can get to Sean Lee and Mario Iannuzzi, one of their certainly better teams. But also, Luxembourg's lineup still loaded with guys like Christophe Diaz and Carlos da Silva. This is a very strong Luxembourg team that is fully capable of not only reaching the semifinals, but perhaps the finals and beyond. That's how good the team and the nation of Luxembourg have become in the world of table soccer.
Well, Jim Stevens, you will not believe what you're called if you're from Luxembourg. You're called Luxembourgish.
Oh, you are?
Yeah, I said to them, I said, so France is French, England is English. You went, and then Steve Diaz said to me, Luxembourg, Luxembourgish. The only option we didn't guess.
Okay. Interesting. That doesn't really sound right. I'm telling you, Luxemburger. That's got to be what it is.
It's got a ring to it, right?
Yeah.
Luxemburger with cheese.
I'll have the deluxe Luxemburger with cheese.
Oh,
all right, Jim and Ben having some fun up here in the Kazoom.com booth. And don't forget, we've got action for you all day long on Kazoom.com. Great matches, one after the other today. Ben and I are going to be very busy. And then tomorrow, the most exciting day in the world of table soccer. We're going to have 2 semifinals and a final for you. And perhaps a women's final in there as well. We certainly hope so. We do love the ladies, don't we?
Yeah, they play such a high standard. It's just that we can only have one match at a time on pit table 1. So we've got to choose. And sadly for the ladies and the seniors at times, the men's national team does take precedent.
Of course, you can also go over to Zone 2 and Zone 3 and watch the action taking place there. Looks like Zone 3, perhaps they're finished. It was the disabled team final. Over on table number 2, zone number 2, we still have the other quarterfinal going on. That's between Austria and the Netherlands.
It's 2-1 in games to the Netherlands.
And neither of those teams has really sent their strongest team this year. Rocco Robin not there for the Netherlands. Austria, there's no Kevin Hunsdorfer or Andreas Esterbauer. Well, Luxembourg has certainly sent their strongest team, haven't they? This is a very, very good team.
Yeah, there's no one missing.
Canada also a very good team, but it's up to Julien Beaumier-Etier to keep the hopes of Canada alive.
Interesting what Steve said there, that the match isn't done.
No, you like that approach, don't you? You're up two matches to nothing, but you're still focused. You still understand that anything can happen.
Yeah, nothing's done. I like it.
Now, Steve is the coach of the team as well. Steve Diaz is the coach of Luxembourg, and he really does have a very mature outlook, and I think that's part of what now makes him a really good multi-table player.
Well, he's actually the organizer of the World Championship, so he's one who's taken on responsibility. You do not offer to take on a World Championships unless you've got the ability to deliver and a certain maturity.
There you see, on the left side of your screen, that is Fabio Ferreira of Luxembourg. Of course, starting off on his home table, the Leonhardt. And over on the right, that's Julien Beaumier-Etier, another Eastern Canadian, but a very good multi-table player. A guy who is good on Fireball, good on Tornado, good on Garlando, good on Bonzini. And they have him in the right position. He is really their power singles guy. They like to get off with Eric Dunn in that opening position, but right now, based on what I have seen of Julien Beaumier-Etier, he is a solid singles player. Very good transition game, good understanding of the singles concept, and he's going to have to be good because he's going up against another very good Luxembourgish player. Don't like it. I don't like it.
It doesn't scan, does it?
Nice pass along that near wall by Julien.
Do you reckon we could appeal to the powers that be in Luxembourg to have that changed?
It's worth a try. It's not a big country, so perhaps we can get that past the National Board of Review. Shot down the middle by Ferreira. Again, we're starting off on the Leonhardt table, the home table of Fabio Ferreira. You know, interesting, talking about cultures as we look at Julien set up the pull shot and stroke it down the middle. So Julien Beaumier-Etier comes out stroking home the pull shot to open up the scoring on his opponent's home table. And you can see the focus in his eyes as he took his time beautifully and hit the big split hole. It's an interesting, and I find it a little bit fascinating. I don't know a lot about the nation of Luxembourg. I'm going to find out more when I visit there next year for the World Championship Series. But you look up at the makeup of the Luxembourg team.
That's so costly. You've got it on the Leonhardt table. You've got to get your man down. You can't afford to look to pin it because sometimes the ball does spin a little and it does make contact with the wall. You've got to control it.
Ferreira able to tap and then stroke it home to the near side. It's 1-1.
That's a lack of experience, that lack of control there.
1-1. Favor 1-1. 2-0 lead in favor of Luxembourg. But you look at the Luxembourg team, and I'm sure there are cultural reasons for it, and it's now 2-1 in favor of Luxembourg. But it appears to me that every single player on the Luxembourg team is of Portuguese heritage.
Yeah, it's very similar to how there are many Turkish people in Germany who came in the 60s to do a lot of the work there. There are many North Africans in France, and in Great Britain we've got
Julien Beaumier-Etier will set up the bull shot. We'll continue that thought in a moment. Julien 1 for 1 shooting it so far. We'll reset and stroking home again down the middle. This time off a man. It's 2-2.
We've got many Indians and many Irish in Great Britain. It's one of those things that happens. A country develops, doesn't it, using a secondary nation maybe as a workforce 30, 40 years ago.
Watch here as he goes again down the middle. And if he's going to give it to you, continue to take it. And on many of these European tables, that split pull shot is money.
Yeah. And of course, you Americans, you've got many Mexicans.
Among other things. Yeah. Along that near wall goes Ferreira. Fabio for the lead. Sets it up all the way on the far side of the goal. This is an approach that we see many European players take. They can go straight, middle, or long, and they can fake a guy off the straight just like that. It's 3-2. It's kind of like a pull shot, but you get this option as well, where you give just a little bit of a wiggle and knock it home to that short side. Former world champion Carlos da Silva looking on. If we get to a fifth and final round, he would play singles. Beaumier-Etier.
The only player that Luxembourg are missing really is Leonardo Stamera.
And the pass here off a man and in. It's 3-3. Fortunate turn of events here for Julien Beaumier-Etier as he tries to pass after bouncing off the wall, nicks off of his, then Fabio's man, and into the goal. 3-3 as Beaumier-Etier tries to steal on Ferreira's home table.
It was such a great Luxembourg team. Where'd you put Leonardo in? Who'd you leave out? It's a great problem to have, Jim.
Again, setting it up far side. And stroking it home near side. Boy, Fabio showing what a great 3-rod he has. And again, another one of the really talented Luxembourg players. That one off the corner, off the back of the man, and in. Beaumier-Etier. And taken away by Ferreira. Well, as we've talked about throughout the weekend, the nation of Luxembourg continues to improve as a table soccer playing country. And now, with the focus being on next year's World Championship Series on Leonhardt, you would think that's going to inspire them even more.
One thing that I don't know about Luxembourg really is their beginner player base. I don't know they have a league. I believe they play in the French. I believe they actually play in the French and the German leagues and the Belgian leagues. I'm not actually sure if they have a league system of their own and a big player base of their own, but...
Well, very good question. Of course, they are so centrally located in Europe. They are close to everywhere.
We can drive across the country in an hour and 30 minutes.
Yeah, and they're close
which to you guys is crazy. You can't drive across the city in an hour and 30 minutes in some of your cities.
You can't drive across the U.S. in 3 days. Shot down the middle by Beaumier-Etier, blocked by Ferreira. But they are a group of players who really does travel. And because they can, they're close to Germany, they're close to France, they're close to the Netherlands.
Everywhere's a 5-hour drive.
Well, literally
or less.
Everywhere. So we look forward to going to Luxembourg next year. Of course, we'll have that event in its entirety on Kazoom.com. That is scheduled for the second weekend of September.
Yeah, it is.
In Luxembourg. And a turnover here by Julien. Chance for Fabio Ferreira to win game number 1 on his home table, and he finds the hole down the middle. What a shooting performance by Fabio Ferreira in that first game. I don't think he missed a shot from his 3-rod as he wins 5-3. And now we'll move across the arena to the fireball table. As Ferreira had gone long earlier, he'd gone straight, and now he goes down the middle.
Whilst these players warm up, let me tell you about some more important dates, Jim, for the calendar. If you're a Leonhardt fan and want to play some Leonhardt table soccer, there's the UK Leonhardt series. All 4 events will be held in Gloucestershire, United Kingdom. It's only an hour from Bristol Airport or 2 hours on the train from Heathrow Airport. We've got an event on the 7th to 9th of March, 13th to 15th of June, 19th to 21st of September, and the 20th to 23rd of November. And Jim, that November event includes a Nations Cup, which is a real big draw for many players.
All right, thank you, Mace. We move now over to the fireball table, the home table of Beaumier-Etier. 2014 is going to be a very exciting year in the world of table soccer, of course, with the new relationship between Kazoom and Inside Foods. I highly suggest that those of you watching at Kazoom.com get your yearly pass, because not only will we be covering the World Championship Series events and the World Cup events, but we will also be covering American events next year on the Warrior Tour and others, along with Inside Foods Classic matches, which will be available exclusively at Kazoom.com. So get your yearly pass. It's amazing how much money you can save by ordering on an annual basis, and you're going to get more content by far than you ever have before at Kazoom.com.
I think it's the best thing that's happened for table soccer with regards to watching it and recording it and seeing it. It is the merger between the relationship between Kazoom and Inside Foods, because you get all of the European tour now and all of the American tour. It really is a fantastic...
All right, we're back on Julien Beaumier-Etier's home table, the fireball. He'll have the first scoring opportunity as he sets up the pull shot. He has to win this game to keep the hopes of Canada alive. Tries to go long with that pull shot. Executed it well. Ferreira got a man on it. This is, I think, the second or third time we've seen Fabio Ferreira play. And I don't know that I've ever seen him miss a shot from his 3-rod on his home table. And Beaumier-Etier confidently stroking home that pull shot. It's 1-0.
Look how long this is, Jim. Really well hit. Right that far long hole.
He went long the first time and it was blocked. He said, I'll go with it again. And he executes it very well. But Fabio Ferreira on the 3-rod, particularly on his home table, particularly on the Leonhardt table, such a good offensive player on the 3-rod. Can't connect on the pass here. Comes back to Julien. And he's going to call an early game timeout. Fabio Ferreira on the left, Julien Beaumier-Etier on the right. And he's going to pass the ball as he has that left hand onto the 2-rod. Able to angle it down along that near wall. Now stepping entirely into the forward position, looking to advance it 5-3. Beaumier-Etier can't connect on the pass. Comes back to Ferreira. Interesting to see what kind of 3-rod Fabio has on this table. But really quite a shooting performance in all three matches so far by the team from Luxembourg.
Yeah.
Correa was great. Diaz was great. Ferreira, great in that opening round, that first game. Another chance here for Beaumier-Etier. Might want to look at the split here. Ferreira thinking along those same lines as well, but Julien doesn't execute the shot. And Fabio able to pick it up in his goal area. Remember, this is the first of 3 big quarterfinal matches that we'll be covering today at Kozoom.com. Boy, his 2 to the 5 has been quite good so far. Couple of blocks here. Beaumier-Etier again. That's 3 blocks in a row by Ferreira. And stolen away here by Fabio, who shoots the snake shot on the fireball. Shot attempt near side. Julien, I think, with maybe his first block against the 3-rod in the match. Fabio, again, doesn't connect on this effort. You can see the comfortability factor certainly not quite the same as it is on the other table for Ferreira.
Oh,
really
trickling towards goal.
Got back there quickly to keep it out, didn't he? And banked off the outside wall into the goal by Ferreira. It's 1-1. Fabio Ferreira from goal has evened it up. And remember, if he wins the game, this game on the fireball table, Luxembourg wins the match. Beautiful 3-quarter outside bank by Fabio Ferreira.
Beaumier-Etier really just needs to work his game, work this 5-bar, get some more possession. I think that's what's killing him here. Or for as well as Fabio Ferreira's shot, he's just getting so much more ball.
That's 6 passes in a row that Ferreira has blocked. Can't hold on to this lane pass effort. Here's Julien again, squeezing it along that near wall. Every possession so important.
Work that long. If he's not on it, you've got to just shoot it. You know you can do it. He's not there.
And there it is.
There it is.
It's 2-1.
It's easy for you and I up here, but he only went onto it once. In 6 seconds, he covers it once. So chance up, that's it, and now he's on it. He's not been on it again after that.
And it's just a matter of executing a good quality shot, because that pull shot does get out there quite a ways with pretty good speed. Pass attempt here, blocked away. Ferreira, whose only goal of this second game has come from his 2-rod, steps back there again offensively. And turns it over. Beaumier-Etier able to steal it away. Julien for a 3-1 lead. Sets up the pull shot. And strokes this one back to the short side. It's 3-1. So as he needs to do, Julien Beaumier-Etier playing well offensively here in this second game on his home table, the Fireball. Trying to extend it to a third and final game to keep Team Canada's hopes alive. Pass along the wall. Ferreira can't connect, and you can see Fabio not quite the confident player that he is on the Leonhardt table. Julien looking to pass, and he does. And this one stolen away. And you can see by the hat that Julien Beaumier-Etier, being from Quebec, the province of Quebec in eastern Canada, is a Montreal Canadiens hockey fan. That's what that hat represents. The most storied franchise in the history of the NHL, the National Hockey League.
What do you mean by that, Jim?
They've won more championships, have more legendary players. Kind of like Manchester United.
Wayne Gretzky, where's he from?
Stroking it home down the middle here is Julien Beaumier-Etier. He's up 4-1. He's from the province of Ontario, I believe.
Who did he play for? Gretzky, because that's the only name that most Europeans will know.
Yeah, played for the Edmonton Oilers and then the Los Angeles Kings. Won several Stanley Cups with the Oilers. So there's your hockey lesson for today. 4-1 lead for Julien Beaumier-Etier, the Montreal Canadiens fan. And it's not Canadians, it's Canadiens. It's the French. For a second game win, Beaumier-Etier strokes home the pull shot. It's 1 game apiece. So a big performance in that second game by Julien Beaumier-Etier has tied this match up at 1 game apiece, and the Canadiens had to have this one to stay alive. And Beaumier-Etier makes sure that he gets to a third game with a chance to keep the hopes of an entire table soccer playing nation alive. You see, Luxembourg won the first two matches by 2-0 and 2-1 scores. Beaumier-Etier has tied this third matchup at 1 game apiece. As we will now head over to the Leonhardt table for 1 ball and then back to Fireball for 2, on and on until someone scores 5 with a 2-point advantage.
There's the other owner on the right-hand side of Leonhardt. So both Leonhardt men watching their table.
And there's a gentleman enjoying some holiday cheer.
And maybe some French beer.
You do get your characters, and we will see that later tonight and tomorrow. That a lot of the locals who turn out, and some of them turn out every year.
Every year, yeah.
Some of them are rather vocal. We'll hear some singing. We'll hear some screaming.
There is always a Moroccan, Algerian-looking gentleman. They've got a tall black friend and a short, fat white guy, and all three of them come every year, and they sit next to each other, and they're very vocal.
Here we go. Third game underway, starting off on the Leonhardt table, and Ferreira will have a scoring opportunity. And again, I don't think he's missed a shot on Leonhardt so far. Beaumier-Etier defending. Ferreira.
He's looking at that straight, isn't he?
Tried to go to the straight, and Beaumier-Etier, thinking along with my partner Ben Mason, able to block it and take it away.
He overplayed that straight, really, didn't he? He really made it obvious that's what he's looking for.
And again, Beaumier-Etier does have experience blocking pin shots, having played Bonzini in Eastern Canada. Again, he tried to flick that straight. No reason to rush that shot, though. Beaumier-Etier will look to pass, and again, it's about stealing a ball on the opponent's table. Able to pass it along the near wall. Now stepping into the forward position. Not sure what he was trying to do there. Maybe knock it off the back wall. Tough to do on the Leonhardt table. And it's Ferreira who ends up with it. Fabio.
And the reason it's tough to do, guys, as Jim pointed out, is the fact that because the slope's quite steep towards the corner of the table, if the man is in line with that slope, you've got to really avoid the slope and the man, and it's quite tough, especially hitting it hard.
It's certainly a play we see guys like Tony Spredeman and Billy Pappas use quite extensively on the flat tables, like a Tornado, the ones with a 3-man goalie, or ones that have a lesser slope.
The way to do it in the Leonhardt table is to do second man. Do second man nearly on the wall, hit it off there.
Ferreira able to stroke it home to the near side. It's 1-0, and we'll head back over to Fireball.
It goes between the two tram lines then, usually avoiding the man and coming out in the flat bit, but that's much harder to do.
It's also just a difficult play to execute. And again, going deep near corner. Probably would have been a good idea for Julien Beaumier-Etier to go ahead and just move into the forward position and attempt to pass the ball, which he is doing now on the Fireball table. We'll have 2 balls here. Pass along that near wall, completed by Beaumier-Etier, who was dominant in that second game on his home table, the Fireball. They'll set up the pull shot here. Is he going to look at the long? If he does, he needs to take his time. But no, goes down the middle here. Not much of a hole, as you'll see in the replay. But Beaumier-Etier able to find it. And anytime you can execute and find a split hole, it's going to set up your long later on.
I still want him to look at that long. I still want him to wait long. I think it's going to be there.
Here's Ferreira. Pass angled down along the near wall. A chance to steal a point here for Fabio Ferreira, who does shoot the snake shot on the Fireball table. Fabio strokes it home. Didn't look like much of a hole there on the far side. Might have split the defenders, but he has stolen a point on the Canadian home table. Watch here as he pushes far side. No, he went all the way out to the far corner. And Fabio Ferreira now up 2-1 and moving back over to his home table. This is where you have to dig really deep, and you might have to scrap a little bit if you're Beaumier-Etier.
You've got to fight here. You've got to fight.
Get a chance to steal it back right here.
Got to put a hard one on goal here, haven't you, Jim? Most important thing is you put it on goal. You make him save.
That one not put on goal and taken away by Ferreira. Luxembourg up 2-0. In good position right now. Shot down the middle. Rebound grabbed by Beaumier-Etier, who will set it up. call timeout. Julien Baumier-Etier, possession of the ball on his 3-rod. A huge possession here in the fortunes of Team Canada as he puts it back into play. Baumier-Etier.
Straights there. That straight's there.
He's baiting the straight. Julien fakes. Is there a reset? Should have been. Apparently was. And coming back with a rolling pull shot here to tie it up at 2.
Look at this, Jim. Look at the explosion he gets. Obviously, there's been a reset. The ball's started to move. Not going to let it set. Into rolling pull, real deep. Great effort there.
That's a shot usually with pull shooters who can execute it. It's good for a sure point at some point during a match.
It should give me a point.
You don't take it all the way out. You only bring it as far as that center dot and come back to the long hole, and it works 9 times out of 10. You can count on it. But Ferreira coming right back, setting it up. Again to that straight, and again, Baumier-Etier not going to give it to him. Fabio strokes this one deep to the near corner.
Is there a hole here, Jim? Look at this.
It's 3-2. Good defense here by Julien Baumier-Etier, but it's Ferreira nailing the near post to give himself the 3-2 lead. But we are on serve, so to speak, as we head back over to the fireball table. Baumier-Etier putting it into play, down 3-2, but on his home table for 2 balls. Boy, his 5, his 2 to the 5 passing series very crisp. Pass down the middle. Ferreira has done a good job defensively against the 5. Baumier-Etier sliding back to pick it up, now uses the left hand again. And this time, brushing it down. And brushing it down to his 3-rod as well. Looking to even it at 3 from pull shot position, Canada's Julien Baumier-Etier. Doesn't execute it, sprays it wide of the goal. Can't afford that.
We want to see him sit on that, don't we, Jim? There's no point just shooting after 2 seconds. Julien is playing so well. That 2-second shot is just a wasted possession.
What I would actually advise in this situation is to sit on it 7 seconds and don't even look at the defense. Just focus on execution of shot. Like that, as he hits the straight. It's 3-3. See a couple of the Canadian ladies there as well. Tornado World Champion Linda Lee sitting in the 2nd row. (3-3) here in game number 3. Blocked back towards the goal by Baumier-Etier, picked up here by Ferreira. Fabio hit a bank early on, tries one here, doesn't execute it, gets it back, and he's going to call timeout. Bringing you live coverage of the world's greatest table soccer event, the 2014 ITSF World Cup of Table Soccer here at Kazoom.com. Going to get a chance to see Team France later today at 6 p.m. Central European Time. They'll compete against a very strong Kuwaiti team. And then later this evening, the marquee event, it'll be Team USA versus Team GB.
As Jim and I will aim to stay as unbiased as possible, with me supporting Team GB and Jim supporting Team USA.
No, I am not from America when I'm here, my friend. I'm an international man of international means, and I have no favorites. Now, you, on the other hand, absolutely will be rooting for Team GB. Julien Baumier-Etier with a chance to take a 4-3 lead, but Ferreira gets a man on it. Comes back to Julien.
Well, with a best friend and 2 business partners in Team GB, I better add support him.
It's just a little more challenging for you, that's all. But being unbiased is a very nice quality. Pass down the middle, nicely executed.
When Todd Lafredo sat over a match-winning ball, I'll let us see if you're unbiased then.
And stroking it home is Julien Baumier-Etier to give himself the lead, and we'll head back over to Leonhardt. Watch here as Julien does take his time and does execute. sometimes reading defense is a little bit overrated. Of course, you want to be conscious of what the defender's doing, but it's more about executing good quality shots time in and time out. And that's what Julien did there to give himself the lead. He's got a match point for Canada. Pass along the near wall. Ferreira loses it, but back to his 5. And then it's taken away by Beaumier-Etier. If we do go to a 4th round, we'll get a chance to see Mario Iannuzzi and Sean Lee for Canada going up against Daniel Alves and Christophe Diaz. Chance here to win the match for Julien Beaumier-Etier as he sets it up in full shot position. And he's going to use a timeout here. Ball put back into play by Julien Beaumier-Etier, looking for a victory for Canada from pull shot position. He strokes it down the middle. A huge win for Beaumier-Etier in this 3rd round singles. Canada is back in the match, now trailing 2-1 to Luxembourg. And what a performance by Beaumier-Etier, and he is pumped. Etier looking at the long and choosing the split to win it. So Canada fights back to win this 3rd round match. Luxembourg opened up winning singles, then doubles, but Julien Beaumier-Etier holds off a very tough Fabio Ferreira in the 3rd round singles, and Canada now trails 2-1. They won the 3rd game 2-1 after losing 2-0 and 2-1 in the first 2 rounds of play. We'll move back to doubles. It'll be Lee and Iannuzzi versus Alves and Diaz, Christophe Diaz, a talented young player. So we've got ourselves a match, and I believe Ben Mason has grabbed Julien Beaumier-Etier to have a quick talk with him.
Ben Mason down outside the pit area with Julien Beaumier-Etier of the Canadian team. Now, they were 2-0 down, and to be honest, they looked a little bit dead and buried, but you came to the table and you brought out a fantastic singles performance. How do you feel?
I feel great. I was down 1 game after the first match on Leonhardt. I'm not so comfortable on this table, so I had to adapt. And I worked hard on fireball, and it gives me some momentum. So I feel great, and I hope it will inspire the rest of my team to win this.
You were shooting so well at that long pull shot. You were seeing it so beautifully and executing. Is that where you feel you're strongest, on the long pull?
Yeah, I would say, but because of my Bunzinic background, I also like to use the short split. But I didn't have to do it against him. He was giving me the long, so I had to explode it.
Yeah. It was a case of he kept giving you that long, so why not hit it?
Yeah,
that's it.
Exactly. I'm confident with my long, so I was keeping shooting it. As long as an option is working, I will do it.
Okay, you've got 2 great players, Mario Iannuzzi and Sean Lee, coming into this again vital match for you to make it 2-2. How do you feel about that?
I feel great. I think this is our best doubles team. Pretty sure they will win it, and hopefully they will win it. They have big experience on fireball. Not much experience on Leonhardt, but they are smart, and I think they can do it.
Yeah, Mario's a very smart foosballer. What we'll see is a great captain's performance from Mario Iannuzzi playing up front there for Sean Lee. So anything could happen. If I had to put my money on it, I would put my money on it being 2-2 to Canada at the end of this game. Thank you.
All right, so you saw Ben Mason's prediction. He thinks that Iannuzzi and Lee are going to come out and win this 4th round. I think most of the fans hope so. They love to see that final round match. Canada keeps their hopes alive. They're 1 step closer to potentially getting back in this match and possibly a position in the semifinals. But Luxembourg is tough. Each and every match, they send out a quality player or a quality team. It's going to be tough for Canada as we move to the 4th round and doubles. 2-1 lead in matches for Team Luxembourg. But Team Canada sending out one of their stronger teams in the gentleman there on the right. And we're going to introduce the two teams. That's Christophe Diaz in the forward position. His partner, Daniel Alves. Two very young players, two very good players. Christophe Diaz, a former junior champion. And I believe he's only 19 years old. On the right, a couple of veterans of the Canadian national team. That is Mario Iannuzzi in the forward position. That is Sean Lee at goal. This is a team that plays together in nearly every competition. They are a team. They have great chemistry together, great familiarity. And we'll see if they can continue to hold off the Luxembourg team. We are starting play on the Canadian home table, the Fireball. Christophe Diaz comes out looking comfortable, rushing this one through the lane. He'll set up the snake shot, shooting against Sean Lee. Diaz stokes it home near side. It's 1-0. This is a very talented young player in Christophe Diaz. You see him really take his time nicely here and then execute squarely to the near corner. Mario Iannuzzi with a pass down the middle.
Clever foosball player, Mario, isn't he?
Iannuzzi,
really is.
Iannuzzi and Lee from the Toronto area in Eastern Canada. Bangs off the inside wall by Alves. It's 2-0. So on the Canadian home table, the Luxembourg pair come out and get the first two. And Lee and Iannuzzi really up against it now. Mario Iannuzzi able to squeeze this one along that inner wall. This becomes a big shot for the Canadians very early in this match. Iannuzzi rocking, looking, and stroking it home near corner.
It won't faze Mario. It won't faze Mario. In all honesty, I played with him and against him so many times. He's just such a strong character mentally.
Yeah, he really
I truly
is.
believe that he could be 4-0 down and still know he's going to win.
2-1 lead now
of course,
for Diaz and Alves. This, of course, again, a match the Canadians must win. Luxembourg is up 2-1 after a great performance in that third round by an obviously very happy and somewhat relieved Julien Beaumier-Etier. And you heard him also refer to his Bonzini background, which gave him some insights into his approach. Ooh, was there not a jar there? I guess not. Looked like there could have been. No call made by Franco Lupacella. And taken away here by Diaz.
Yeah, that's another player that's got a lot better over time. He was quite a fast player, a little bit loose before. He's
very good junior player, very, very talented junior player, but he has matured a little bit, and I think he's had to. If he wants to be part of this team, which has become a very mature team, he has to have matured, and he has.
You could argue Christophe Diaz would be the one that would switch for Leonardo Stamera if they were going to make that switch.
Shot attempt again there, taken away by Alves. And I believe we're going to get a timeout here. Maybe not. I saw Diaz lean over and say something to Alves. Daniel. Off a man and in. A fortunate effort there. A desperate kind of play that ended up, watch this, as he brings it across and just kind of swings at it after it bounces off the wall. Off the far man of Sean Lee and in. That is a tough break for Iannuzzi and Lee.
That is cruel. Really cruel.
Sean Lee, Mario Iannuzzi finding themselves down 3-1 on their home table in this first game. Fourth round of a quarterfinal match here at the World Cup. If we do go to a fifth and final match, it would be Laurent Joaquin Marco for Canada, and it'd be Carlos da Silva for Luxembourg. Iannuzzi smoothly along that near wall. Again, unfazed. Even by that amazingly fortunate goal by Alves. Iannuzzi taking a look at the middle. And finding it. It's 3-2. Rather obvious that hole was going to be there.
Yeah.
And Mario Iannuzzi has pulled his team within one. Rushed up here by Diaz. Picked up by Lee. Another guy that seemingly is unfazable. Very professional approach by these two gentlemen.
In the other quarter-final between Austria and Netherlands, it's 2-2 in matches and 1-1 in games. In the fifth match, 3-2 to Holland. That is a tight fixture.
Beautiful pass here by Lee. And Januzzi can tie it up, and he does with a quick set near side. And again, you wouldn't know it from his face. Januzzi gets it, sets it, and goes with it. 3-3 here in the first game, so the Canadians have fought back with 2 in a row in a game on their home table that you would think they have to have. Diaz with a pass attempt blocked away by Januzzi, comes back to Alves.
Got to watch this near side bank.
Near side off the man bank. Shot down a little wide of the goal, picked up by Diaz. Christoph nicely along that near wall, can give his team the lead. Christoph Diaz will call time out.
It's 3-3 over in the other quarter-final. That's tense over there. As you can see the far left-hand side of your screen. Holland have made it 4-3, coming back over to the Leonhardt table, their home table.
And of course you can watch that. That's in zone 2. You can watch that at Gazoom. We do have coverage.
10 seconds.
The Dutch, ball on their home table, chance to win.
Christoph Diaz will put the ball back into play. Looking for the lead, shooting against Sean Lee. Has a little bit of difficulty setting it up. Does get it set, tried to come down the middle. Lee not going to give that to him. And we talked about that a little earlier. On the unfamiliar table, on your home table, do not give up a straight. It's as simple as that. Sean Lee will put it back into play.
Yeah, you said it before. You've got to make them go to the corners, haven't you?
Lee, who executed a beautiful pass on his last possession. This one zigzags around, comes back to Sean. And well, rolls to a dead stop, something we have not said all weekend long. And is put back into play by Lee. Looking to clear it. But it's Diaz who intercepts it along the way, picks it up. He has possession on his 5, looking to advance it, try to go along the wall, blocked by Januzzi. Lee with a block as it carries him towards the goal. It'll be Sean Lee again. With a pass near side. Daniel Alves, who has 2 of their 3 scores. One of them well executed, the other one incredibly fortunate. Sets it up again, takes a look at the bank. Januzzi forking him, but he does clear it to get it to Diaz. Quick pass attempt by Christoph wasn't executed, was blocked by Januzzi. This one does get through. Christoph Diaz. Try to come near side. Lee slides out there calmly to make the block and take it away, but then turns it over. Diaz.
Using a spread-him-like grip.
And another nice block here by Lee. If you're going to turn it over, you better take it back, and he does. Sean Lee.
Watch the pass here, Jim.
Has chosen to pass on most possessions, and he's choosing to take a timeout here. The Canadians have to have this match. Team Luxembourg got off to the great start. You can see Christoph Diaz speaking with Steve Diaz and Yannick Correa, the 2 stars of the Luxembourg team. Daniel Alves goes over to have a talk as well. Referee Franco Lupacella says, let's play. Sean Lee steps back to the table and will put it back into play. Sean Lee has been passing. I'd like to see him be a little more aggressive offensively as well, and he is.
That's the one, Jim. That's
as
the one.
he strokes home the pull shot.
That's the one to save it for.
It's 4-3. Watch here as he brings it across. The opponent thinking pass, Lee thinking pull shot.
And he's earned himself that by passing those few times. He's built up that thought in their mind.
4-3 lead for Team Canada, 3 in a row. Have given them the lead, but Christophe Diaz comes back to set up the snake shot. And stroke it down the middle. It's 4-4. Huge ball coming up here for the Canadians as Christophe Diaz able to find that hole down the middle.
It's a tight hole, Jim.
Januzzi putting it into play on his 5. Goes into the weave, tries to pass along the wall. Again, this time down the middle. It's stolen away by Diaz. Christophe Diaz for a first game win. We'll call a second and final timeout. Luxembourg in a great position to steal a game on the Canadian home table and then head back over to their home table with a chance to win the match.
Yeah.
Nervous Canadian looking on. As young Christophe Diaz puts the ball back into play. For a first game win on the Canadian home table, the Fireball, Diaz. Try to go to the far side, off the man, off the wall, and in. So Diaz and Alves have stolen the first game on the Canadian home table. They lead 1-0. And the Canadians really in trouble now, Ben Mason.
2 very fortunate goals for Luxembourgish players here. You've got to feel really sorry for the Canadians. That second goal where he just flapped it, hit the edge of Sean Lee's man on the wide, went in. And that final effort there, Sean Lee's got a huge piece of it. It's then hit the wall. It's then come off the back of a man and got in the goal. The Canadians must be feeling sick as pigs here.
After a great performance in that third round by Julien Beaumier-Etier, it's the Luxembourg pair who come out to steal the opening game of this fourth round doubles match. They're now just 1 game to 5 away from a slot in the semifinal.
But we had a good performance from Sean Lee and Mario in this game. They've just arguably been done by 2 bits of luck. Tough breaks, 2 tough breaks.
Let's not count out the Canadians yet as we now step over to the Leonhardt. And Januzzi puts it into play. Pass attempt stolen away by Diaz. Pass along that near wall, blocked by Januzzi. And brushed up here by Christophe. For the early lead here in game 2, Christophe Diaz shooting against Sean Lee. Strokes it home to the near side. Watch here, really aggressive approach and a stroke home to the near side. Januzzi again has it intercepted and taken away by Diaz. Christophe's pass attempt blocked back to Alves. Boy, that shot by Alves that hit off of Sean Lee's far man on the 2-rod and angled directly in the goal was the killer in that opening game. Here's Sean Lee. Lee sends it up the table. That was sort of a half shot, half pass. Does clear the zone where it's picked up by Alves. Down the middle he goes with a shot on goal. Lee keeps it out. Sean with a shot on goal of his own. Looking to even it up. Januzzi. Rocking. Trying to come near corner. Blocked by Alves. Comes back to Lee. Lee's again sending it up the table. A quick pull kick by Januzzi. It's 1-1. Watch here. The shot on goal by Lee and immediately grabbed and scored by Mario. 1-1 here in game 2. The Canadians, of course, have to win this game. Diaz tried to go along the wall, knocked down and taken away by Mario Yanuzzi trying to go along the wall. Diaz takes it back and brushes it up. On this table, that brush up pass is awfully tough to stop. Shot far side. Lee with a big block. Up the table to Alves.
We've been a really good defender. Diaz has shot very well, but they've both been almost an equal match for each other in this game.
Inside bank attempt by Daniel. It's blocked by Yanuzzi, who advances it through the lane. Mario Yanuzzi now will shoot for the lead. Yanuzzi rocks and then strokes it home near side. Oh, his 3-rod looks really good on this table.
Very calm, isn't he, Jim?
Arguably one of the calmest players we've ever seen. He is just unflappable, as they say. And it's 2-1 in favor of Yanuzzi and Lee. Diaz, again, the brush up. Nearly unstoppable. The size of the hole, the size of the man's foot. Make that brush up pass so deadly. On laying hard, Lee keeps it out once. It spins towards the goal. He keeps it out twice. Sean Lee down the middle on goal. Picked up by Alves. That one just off the corner by Alves. Diaz able to pick up the rebound. Christoph Diaz to tie it at 2. Walking it. And stroking it home far side. Beautiful shot by Diaz. It's 2-2. Watch here as he walks it. And again, always that aggressive approach and that Sprayderman-like grip.
Yeah.
As he nails the far corner.
You've got to try and get on those corners a little bit more at times. It's just, he's such a quick young man that if you do sit a bit too long, he's... Maybe you can look at a Cartwright shuffle as a defence against this guy. Give him something different. It's amazing how many people haven't seen that defence.
For the lead, Yanuzzi. Big shot here. Does have timeouts remaining, and he's going to use one. Mario Yanuzzi has possession of the ball on his 3-rod. We're tied up at 2 here in game number 2. The Luxembourg team won the first game on Fireball. I'm having a lot of trouble saying Luxembourgish. I just can't seem to get it out. And I don't know that I ever will. It just... I think he was toying with you.
Oh, I don't know. Can you Google it? What are people from Luxembourg called?
Yanuzzi putting it back into play, has that one blocked, and
the
rebound comes back to him. Mario once again for the lead. Stokes at home far side. It's 3-2. Oh, Mario Yanuzzi gives his team the lead in his normal calm fashion. Really muscled this one out to the far side. And it's 3-2. It indeed is Luxembourgish. So now I have no problem saying it. The Luxembourgish team on the left, trailing 3-2, but up 1-0. 3 blocks in a row by Yanuzzi. The third one back towards the goal. Daniel Alves scoops it up. That shot attempt in the air and then lands on Diaz 5. We do go to a 5th round. Remember, Laurent Paquin Marco versus Carlos da Silva in singles. Looking to even it at 3. Diaz. Taking a lot of time. Try to come near side. Lee stays home to make the block and take it away. And you saw him give him a different defense there. Kind of a semi-Lewis shuffle that you talked about, using the far man on the 2-rod.
Yeah.
And Diaz didn't know what to do.
Whenever I go away and I'm getting scored on by these Europeans, I always like to give them the Lewis shuffle, just see what they do. And it does tend to really unsettle them, at least with 3 or 4 goals. And 3 or 4 balls, but that might be enough for me to get back in the game.
Banked off that inside wall by Alves on goal. Lee with a block. The rebound caroms to Diaz. Will brushes it up again. Why does anybody do anything but a brush-up pass on this table?
Because the wall's massive.
Diaz. Taking a look again. Same defense shown by Lee, and this time he finds the hole as he executes firmly to that far side. It's 3-3.
The answer is, Jim, if you're passing wall on this table, if it gets blocked, it more often than not comes back to you. That's why.
The hole is so big on that brush up, and Mario able to exploit it here. Another big shot for Januzzi. And he strokes it home to the near corner. It's 4-3. His 3-rod has looked really good on the Leonhardt table. And he has been really working the near side of the goal. And we have a switch for the first time in the match. Januzzi moving back defensively just to give a different look on the 5.
They got a timeout left.
Brushing it through the lane again is Diaz. Shooting against Januzzi. Christoph. A lot of time. And a time call. Christoph Diaz, I'm not sure what he was thinking. We realized it was a lot of time. Time call is made legitimately, I think. And the ball will be awarded to Januzzi. Januzzi stay back there. Yes, he will, and he'll pass it to Lee. Now, Sean Lee should probably call timeout here if they have one left. And he will, wisely. Januzzi has been shooting the ball really well.
I think Sean was just playing a Mario. Look at Mario's face. Sean, this is not the time to have a joke with a friend.
Well, he fooled all of us. And now Januzzi will return to the forward position with a chance to send it to a third game. What a huge time call that was. But it was obvious. He was taking a lot of time and then taking more time and then taking even more time.
It took a little bit of time to set it up, didn't it? Which is probably 2-3 seconds. Then he really did rock on it for a while.
Januzzi returns to the forward position, puts it into play, sets it up, looking to extend the match to a third and final game. Tried to come down the middle, blocked by Alves. Daniel. So Mario Januzzi has had a shot to win it, and Alves off the inside wall ties it up. At 4, it's match point for Luxembourg.
Yeah, now the Canadians don't have a timeout left, so the switch, if they made, Sean Lee would have to stay up front. The question is, Jim, do you feel Mario raced that shot? Did he rush it? Did he take his time?
The one shot he had, perhaps it wasn't the quality of his previous few possessions.
I don't feel it was.
Yeah. And we're going to get a timeout here called by Luxembourg. Well, they're not going to make the switch here. You can be fairly certain of that. But they've had their opportunity. Will they get another one? Talking about Team Canada.
He's been so good on the 5 there, Mario. You give him the over to pass this now, wouldn't you?
If he brushes up, yes.
Yeah. The under if he brushes down?
If he brushes down, I'm taking the under. Yeah. It is match point for Team Luxembourg. Mario Januzzi puts it into play. Brings it across. Tries to go along the wall, and it's taken away by Diaz. Match point for the Luxembourgish. It's taken right back, or at least blocked by Januzzi. Diaz again. You got to watch the up here, don't you? Chance to win it here for Diaz. Christoph Diaz to send Luxembourg to the semifinals. Will call timeout. Mario Januzzi, Sean Lee had an opportunity, had a shot, but it was taken away by Alves. Daniel also hitting the big inside bank for his team's 4th point. Possession of the ball now, however, on the 3-rod of Christoph Diaz, who has a chance to win the match for Luxembourg. Diaz puts it into play, sets it up, shooting against Sean Lee for the win. Tried to go to the far side, and that one went in. And there it is. Luxembourg has defeated Canada 3-1 to advance to the semifinals of the national team event. World Cup 2014. Disappointed Mario Iannuzzi and Sean Lee, but a great performance by Diaz. And there it was. That actually cleared the goal line, hit kind of the upper plexiglass part of the goal. And Luxembourg advances to the semifinals. Luxembourg came out to win the opening round of singles behind their superstar Yannick Correa. Steve Diaz led a great effort in that second game in doubles. Julien Baumier-Etier got a win for Canada to make it 2-1 in favor of Luxembourg. But Christophe Diaz, Daniel Alves close it out with a fourth-round doubles win over Iannuzzi and Lee to send Luxembourg to the semifinals. And you get the feeling that Luxembourg is not happy. They really believe that they can win this World Cup. And maybe they can. Maybe Luxembourg has the type of talent at this point, the type of energy behind their table soccer program, that they very well are a contender for the championship. Of course, Team USA still waiting out there. Defending champions, Team France, of course. And two very good contenders in both Kuwait, who most people don't know about, and we'll watch a little later on. And, of course, the team that the United States will play later tonight, Great Britain. But it's Team Luxembourg here in this quarterfinal match who comes out on top behind great efforts from their superstars, Yannick Correa and Steve Diaz, and young Christophe Diaz with an exceptional effort in this last match.
Ben Mason down in the finals area with one of the Team Luxembourg. Fantastic victory, taking them to semi-final. Fabio, how do you feel to be in the semi-final?
It's great. It's a great feeling. I think that we, Luxembourg, we have showed that our players have a lot of talent. Canada has played very well, but I think that we are a little bit stronger than them, and that we have showed that we can do it into the final.
Okay, and one thing that's going to be very impressive is you're multi-table players. You can play on all the different table types. Now, that I think could help you maybe be champions. How do you feel that's improved in your game? All your players can now play on all the tables.
I think we have an example like Carlos da Silva and Yannick Correa, who 1 year ago they have been a champion here in Nantes, and so I think every player who has talent and who can play has a chance to become a champion. It's true they have to put time in and to train, but I think it's great to come here and to play with other players and to meet some other.
Well, what we're hearing there, guys, is that we've got a Luxembourg team that put in a lot of hours of practice. They've all been training on all the different table types, and that's why they find themselves yet again at an advanced stage in the World Championships. Luxembourg through to the semi-final. Who will they meet? We'll find out later here on Kazoom.com.
All right, thank you, Ben Mason. Thank you, Fabio Ferreira. Great performance by the team from Luxembourg. And a big point that Ben Mason made there, along with Fabio, was how good all the players are in a multi-table format. And if you're going to win a World Cup, you have to be great multi-table players. They certainly put on a show there, and they have earned a position in the semifinals. About 45 minutes before we start our next match, it's going to be defending champions Team France going up against a very good team that most people don't know about from Kuwait. We'll have that for you at Kazoom.com in just a little while.